in. Hi. Hello, welcome to New York. Really sorry about the delay there. We've been literally walking about Times Square trying to find somewhere to film from. This is Chris and I'm Angela. I'll let him introduce who he is in a second. But yeah, we've been trying to find somewhere in Times Square with Wi-Fi and it's just not working at all. So I hope this is good. We'll tell you the review in a second. My name's Angela. I'm owner and director of Amy. And I'm currently out in New York expanding our business into the New York area. And I've enlisted help of a friend of mine who's just arrived in New York. Chris, you can tell us
Hello.
Who you are and what you do.
My name is Chris and I have moved here to be an actor. So I started the month being a professional actor. That's me.
And what did you do before? Because you met the business in Glasgow.
Yeah, I used to run a marketing agency in Glasgow and we worked with likes of Share Brothers and Trespass and City Holdings and stuff. So it was good.
So how have you found New York so far?
It's been good. There's a lot to take in, but it's just getting used to it. I've only been here 2 days, so I'm staying out in Brooklyn, so it's just getting used to all the subways and all the different things with it.
And it's quite hard getting about, isn't it? Because you were like, what, 45 minutes late?
Yeah, about 45 minutes late. I don't know my way about yet, but I've not heard the end of it yet either.
It's tough, isn't it, though? Because I hadn't been out to Brooklyn either. When Chris arrived the other night, I was like, I'll just jump in the tube and come out to Williamsburg. And it's not really as easy as people make out. It's swapping trains and everything, and it's quite tricky to sort of try and get to somewhere that you've never been before. Yeah. I think as soon as you've been somewhere, and then you know where you're going, because New York, kind of midtown and uptown is really easy because it's all grids.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go into the financial district or you go up to Brooklyn, it's not like that, is it?
Yeah, Brooklyn's a wee bit different. I'm staying in Bushwick just now and I'm moving to Crown Heights in a week. And it's much more neighbourhood style, so there's all lots of wee streets and loads of wee interjoining things and all the different stuff. So yeah, it's a lot more challenging than just the grid in Manhattan.
Yeah. And when you get into Manhattan, trying to get about, especially today, like with Times Square, the tourist ratio is just crazy. Like, it's just so bustling. Everybody's stopping, taking pictures. Everybody's, walking about. We actually were down on, was it 40th Avenue, was it?
No, that would be 8th Avenue.
Down on 8th Avenue, and it was all closed for a street market. So they had all of these stalls and laid out. There was loads of foods. There was like smoothie bars and everything like that. So that's where we're heading down after. We were trying to see whether we could get somewhere with a view of that, but it just wasn't working at all. No. So hi Jackie, by the way, nice to see you, and glad you're enjoying it. So this is our view at the moment. We're in the Hilton Hotel, Hilton Garden Inn, Times Square. Yeah. So this is a view of pretty much Times Square is there and up to the right. Then you can see the poster for the Lion King just there. Let's see if this. I'll move you a bit closer. Oh, there you go. So that's about as good a view as we could get of New York with working Wi-Fi, because both of our Wi-Fis have been absolutely rubbish. We've been walking about like this trying to find a signal. So the reason that we wanted to talk to you again about New York, because we've already done a show on it and we explained how profitable and how much opportunities there were for your business, and it was mostly based around moving your business to New York and taking advantage of all the opportunities that were out there. Now, what we wanted to focus on today was actually personally moving to New York, because both me and Chris are in the exact same situation where we're moving to New York. It's a new city, we hadn't been there many times before, we'd only sort of been here maybe like more as a tourist, I would say, so actually finding places to live instead of just places to go out drinking. Or was that just me?
I think that was probably just
that was probably just me, yeah. So we've got some kind of facts about New York based around what might make it attractive for you to come here. The New York City population is now over 8.5 million people, and that's for the first time ever in 2016, so it's constantly growing. You can actually feel how many people are here.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's just constant.
I mean, I'll go on the subway and it's like the subway trains are so long. I mean, I know the subway in Glasgow is nothing to compare it to, but subway in Glasgow's got like 3 carriages. These are like 25 carriages. You think
enormous.
It's huge. You think as if the train's actually going past the station, but it's not. It's just stopping. It's that long, and you just constantly see new people. I think I watched this vlogger, Casey, and he was saying that the first time he bumped into somebody he knew in New York, just randomly, it was 5 years after being in the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to try and beat that record. So the growth of 0.6% in the last year, but in the last 5 years, the New York population has grown by more than the entire population of Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's quite a big city. We were just trying to work out which area exactly it's in. It's definitely in the US.
We have no idea.
We have no idea, sorry.
Yeah.
Blair, your notes are great, but just a teeny bit more for it's more useless. Most people, though, instead of moving to New York City, the highest population growth has actually been in the boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn. And this is quite surprising when you consider that New York City is like the biggest draw. But actually what's happened in these areas is there's been a massive reduction in crime. It's more attractive to live there now because they've been doing a lot of developments and they're aware that people want to work in New York City but maybe can't afford to stay there. So Brooklyn's the area that you're in?
Yep.
Bushwick?
I'm staying in Bushwick just now, and I'm moving to Crown Heights next week. And when I was talking to people, they were saying it's I can't remember, they said the gentrification or something of the areas where previously there was large, maybe Hispanic or Black or Italian. What's happening now is more people are intermixing with other races and stuff like this, so you see a bigger mix of people in areas that were maybe predominantly Spanish or what have you. So in Bushwick, what I've noticed is there's a lot of black people and a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Messianic Jews they wear the big hats and they've got the hair down the sides. Yeah, so that's a really big demographic for Bushwick.
Amazing. Yeah, I've never been to Bushwick. And is Crown Heights the same?
No, Crown Heights. Crown Heights is more a bit of a mix. It's probably from what they were saying, it's a bit more young people. The property's still very expensive. The flat I'm in was $800,000. I didn't buy that, but
the prices are ridiculous, aren't they? I mean, when you see even going out into the Brooklyn areas, particularly in Williamsburg, I saw this graph which talked about how much the prices had increased of properties. And properties in Williamsburg over the last maybe 5 years or something have increased by something like 75%. So it's great if you've got in Williamsburg, but also it must be a bit of a pain for the people who actually live there. They've got their community, they're used to the house prices, they're used to paying a certain amount for a beer, and all of a sudden now it's the cool place to go.
Yeah, totally.
Infiltrated it, yeah. So there's actually over 120,000 British people living in New York City. I've met 3 of them.
I've met, I don't know.
Not even me.
I
went to each, yeah. So how do you meet people? Because obviously that is probably the biggest thing about moving to a new place. When you come and you're setting up your business, there's so many networking opportunities, and there's usually maybe other people that you meet in the place where you're setting up. But if you're coming over yourself and you don't already have an office, and you don't really have any existing kind of business or networking infrastructure, how can you just get to know people that you can kind of just go for a drink with? So there's a couple of different ways. We've looked at a couple of different websites. One is called Internations, and this is a network I actually use in Kuwait, which is really good. It's like an expat network, so you go on and you upload your profile and you say where you're going to be, and people arrange like kind of meetups, so you can go and you can go bowling and stuff, or you can just get to know people through like kind of chatting, and then you can arrange to meet individually. And there's another one which I've not checked out, which is called Big Apple Brits. I take it because it's called Big Apple Brits, it's only in New York, and that's events and social networking community for expats. And then also kind of other tips which are just standard anywhere you go. If you're going somewhere new and you're trying to get to meet people, like go take a class, go to learn a new language, like dance, cookery school, something like that. Go somewhere where other people are going to be on their own. Likewise in New York, there's such a huge culture for just going out and being able to have a meal on your own. You know, you'll go to bars with the people sitting themselves, and as a female as well, I've never really felt out of place going and having a meal and sitting having a beer somewhere on my own. Yoga is massively popular, and also anything sort of fitness related is absolutely huge here. So we were trying to come up with a couple of New York quirks, like things that we've found living in New York, which is just really, really tiny small things, but are really different from things back home. Is there anything you've found since being here?
I don't know if there's anything that stood out to me so far. It's hard having a thick Scottish accent in America. That's particularly annoying more than difficult. But Nothing stood out to me yet. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get people to understand me. They don't have a clue. And they're so polite, they'll just kind of like nod and be like, yeah, no problem at all. So absolute deadly sins of New Yorkers, don't eat pizza with cutlery. I think there was actually a thing during the week about Donald Trump. He was eating KFC with cutlery.
That's right, yeah.
He was trying to show like he was a man of the people and he was on his private jet.
Aye.
Checking for a knife and fork. Don't do it. Don't eat pizza with cutlery. Also trying to flag down a taxi without the right technique. It's actually really hard to flag down a taxi properly.
I got one yesterday, but the first two drove right past me. You need to shout at them.
Tourists, we're out yet. Plus, it's hard to tell. They've all got these advertising billboards on the top, and they're always on, so they're always bright. So you see a bright light coming down and think that it's on. So you're sticking your hand out flagging a taxi, but it's not. It's the small letters. It's if they're lit up that it's free. So everybody can instantly tell you're a tourist, and that's when you're likely to get robbed if you're standing right in the middle of the street with your hand out like that. Also, not preparing properly for winter. And probably not preparing properly for summer. Like, how roasting is it today?
It's so hot today. It's not even. It's not overly sunny. It's just so
muggy.
humid.
Plus, we've been walking about and have been stressing because I can't find somewhere to do the relocation show. So I'm like, we need to find somewhere. We're walking really fast, and it's not conducive to New York weather. Also, not tipping a bartender. So tipping is a huge culture in the States anyway, but it's particularly important in New York. And a tip that I learned from somebody who I met over here, she said that always tip people if you're going to see them again. So like if you're going to go into a bar a couple of times, always tip the bartender because they'll remember you. And what usually happens when you go into a bar and you're like a new face or something, they will usually buy you a free drink. And the reason that they buy you a free drink is so that then you're going to leave a tip, which is equal to or more than the drink. So tip your bartender who you see all the time. When it comes to things like taxis and maybe people you're not going to see as much, I don't know if there's that big a need for it.
Yeah, I was told it's a tricky subject, tipping, because it's not it's a kind of social etiquette back home, whereas here it's you have to tip as people's livelihood. So I get told you tip 15 to 18% at lunch, 20% at dinner, and you tip $1 in the bar. So you tip the barman $1. If you don't tip them, chances are you won't get served again.
Really? So. Oh, that's amazing. So we're just going to do all of our eating before 4 p.m. Just like a big lunch. But it does sound as if it can get quite expensive, and it really can when you're going out for meals. Like, when you're adding on the tax and the tip and everything like that. Plus, when you're changing from pounds into dollars right now, post-Brexit, thanks Brexit, it's a total nightmare. Everything's so expensive. Even a dollar pizza works out about £7.50. But yeah, dollar pizza, they're on every street corner. So if you are on a budget, you can definitely do New York on a budget. Even when we were down there at the street food festival, there's loads of street food, there's loads of like gyros, there's
I got a smoothie, there's everything, pizza, there's French crepes, ice cream rolls. Everything.
I can't wait to get back down. So there's definitely things that you can do in New York which are free. Also there's plenty of free Wi-Fi, believe it or not. It's just not strong enough to do a Facebook Live video, but there is plenty of free Wi-Fi about, and you're inundated with things like Starbucks, Costas, places like that. So even just taking a walk out and about, getting to know
Costas.
Do they not have Costa? Is it just Starbucks? To be fair, I've not been to a Costa yet.
I think you've just went a total pilot mode there.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have. I've never been in a Costa in New York. I don't know why I said that. Why did we not have that?
I think Costa's just UK.
Was it?
Yeah.
Costa Coffee came out to New York. Yeah, it is just Starbucks. That's really weird, sorry. See, they've got Starbucks in every corner.
Yep. McDonald's, I've seen quite a lot of McDonald's, but there's more, living in Brooklyn, there's more like, I guess you would call them artisan coffee places, and I've not seen as many chains. You get the big chains like Shake Shack is everywhere.
You actually see people queuing up outside Shake Shack, which is the equivalent of people like queuing up outside Burger King, but a really, really, really nice Burger King. Yeah, Shake Shack's amazing. Because Williamsburg, the area we were in the other night, Williamsburg is like this cool wee kind of trendy place. And when I went to meet Chris, I got off the subway and I sent a message saying, "That's me off the subway, where are you?" I said, "I'm just in a hat shop trying on hats." Okay, so you definitely wouldn't get that in Glasgow. So I hope that's given you a bit of an insight of what it's like personally moving to New York. It's always tricky going to a new city, and New York is a city like no other. It's insanely good, it's really big, it's tough to navigate, it's tough to get to know people, but it's the kind of city that once you're here, it totally rewards you for being here. I'm really personally excited about being able to live here and expand the business. And how are you feeling about the next few months?
Yes, it's daunting and exciting at the same time. So it's so big and there's so much happening that like I didn't know anything about this street food festival until I came in. So there's loads of stuff happening you just don't even know about really. But it's cool. It's a cool city to be a part of.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So I hope you enjoyed that. Anybody who's coming out to New York, please give us a shout and come along and either stay in one of our apartments or come along and meet us for a beer. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And sorry again for all the technical difficulties with actually getting this live. And see you later. Bye guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.